You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry Sanderson on Tide 100.9 in Tuscaloosa.
How many Tuscaloosa customers are searching for type of business? It's quick, easy, and free. Visit mylocalcustomers.com. That's mylocalcustomers.com.
Inside the Locker Room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
And good morning and welcome in to the Monday edition of Inside the Locker Room. So much to cover today, a lot going on in sports, so we'll get right to it. But the phone number to get in on the show, 205-342-9904. No guest the first hour, so we'd love to have your phone calls. A ton to talk about. We'll talk it all. If you want to talk Masters, that was absolutely wasn't a lot of anticipation as who was going to win the tournament, but Scotty Scheffler, wow, what a person, and what a great golfer. We can talk about that A-Day game. You got that. You got Bama baseball winning 2 out of 3 against the number 1 ranked Arkansas Razorbacks. A-Day game, obviously, I was completely wrong about that. That was a really, really good crowd. I don't know what it was announced. I know it was over 70,000, the announcement there. So I was wrong about that. Before we get started, though, of all the colors, yellow is the most important, at least when it comes to building outdoors, no matter what your project is this season, pier, deck, fence, pergola. Be sure to head to your local Yellowwood dealer for Yellowwood brand pressure-treated pine. Yellowwood offers the best protection against rot, fungal decay, and termite attacks, so it's no wonder Yellowwood is the brand of choice for building outdoors. If you're going to build it right. Go to yellowwood.com to find the dealer that is close to you, and always remember, if it doesn't have that yellow tag on it, you don't want it. We got Justin Jones behind the glass, so dial us up, 205-342-9904. Good morning, Dad. How are you this morning?
Yeah, I'm saddened, Barry, and I want to say this to some of our listeners who know, if I can say it. Steve Sloan, one of the greatest people, one of the greatest athletic directors, one of the greatest football coaches at the University of Alabama, one of the greatest Christian guys, passed away yesterday with his wife by his side, who's had memory care problems as well. He was a great football quarterback. Won the national championship in '65, I think it was, when they beat Nebraska. Joe Namath went to a bar, and Coach Bryant had a meeting, and they voted to see whether Steve Sloan was going to start against Ole Miss in the bowl, or what they were going to do. Steve Stallings voted for him not to play, for Namath not to play. And Steve came in and played and won 12-7. I can't tell you what a great person he was. He was my athletic director, and he was the best athletic director any coach could ever have. And besides that, he was one of the greatest people that you will ever know on the face of this earth. So sorry that he passed away, but when Ray Perkins came in, he came back to Alabama in '87 as the athletic director. He made all kinds of awards with Coach Bryant, got all kinds of Coach Bryant awards, and I'm so sad to find out that he's passed away. So I'll say that this hour, and I'll also say it the first part of next hour, because I think people need to know that we lost Steve. Scotty did win, certainly, and he played well enough to win. Had kid from overseas was a good player with him, Hebert, and it was. I enjoyed it very much. It was terrific Masters, and to win 2 times in a row with that way you're having to play there against that field is quite unusual. Some of the Alabama players did not make the cut. People that played at Alabama, did not make the cut. But certainly Scotty deserves a lot of credit for that. Basically, the football game was an offensive football game where good running backs played. Didn't talk much about the defense. start Bell on the second hour.
Yeah, I got text from Tommy Ford this morning about Steve Sloan, and just looking here, I guess he was 79 years old, looks like here. So if you go to any social media, that's what you hear. People talk about what a good person that he was, even not about his football, and then football and all that was great as well, but he leaves quite a legacy there. So I knew you would do a good job with that, and I don't know, I'm sure they don't know anything about the funeral and all that, so when we get that information, we will pass it along. 8A game, I don't know, Justin, if you got to see it. I don't know how much of you saw it. You hit the nail on the head. I think they interviewed Coach DeBoer during it, and he said the defense was kind of vanilla, and so it was getting chewed up. And so I guess, or in the first half for sure, and I guess a lot of people were worried about the defense. But pretty basic deal out there. The quarterbacks and the running backs all seemed to play well, but I was very impressed by the crowd, Dad, to have that many people there. I just didn't quite feel the buzz, but it looked like I think they announced 72,000, and I wouldn't argue with them. I wasn't in the stadium, but quite a turnout for Coach DeBoer. And I thought the game was much better than the ones that they've had in the past. I mean, guys were, other than the quarterbacks, they were actually tackling the guys and looked like pretty much playing football, so it seemed like a better version of a game to watch. And so just your thoughts about the crowd that showed up there.
The crowd was great, and I picked it 52,000. I didn't miss it by 20,000. So I was wrong as well, and it was a great crowd. I think that one of the biggest things defensively is Alabama is going to be different defensively than they have been. They're going to be different with their alignments, different with the way they play, different completely. Good, bad, and none of the above. They're just going. Well, that's not because Alabama's been bad defensively. It's because this is the way these guys have learned to play defense. And based on that, I don't think Alabama wanted to show a lot of defensive fronts. I don't think they wanted to show very much at all defensively to give anything away. They've got some tough games. Even they've got to get off to a good start. Of course, they play Wisconsin third game and Georgia on fourth game. So I would think that sometimes you don't want to show your offense. I think in Alabama's case, they didn't want to show their defense. So big crowd, great game. Everybody's excited about the athletic director making, they think, the right choice, and I'm sure he is. So should be very good.
Yeah, I think the transition really, honestly, has been about as good as it could possibly be. And I'll tell you what I liked. I liked the fact that Coach Saban was there. A lot of people say, oh, he'll stay away. He's not going to meddle in their business. They interviewed him on the field. They said he talked to the team for the first time, and he basically just told them he was there for them. If they ever needed anything, he wanted Alabama to be good. He did a nice interview on the field. He went up in the box just to kind of embrace Alabama football, be there. I think Coach DeBoer is good with it. Some guys will be intimidated by it. His personality, it doesn't bother him. He sees Coach as a tremendous asset. Coach wanting to be there, I thought was pretty neat as well. Just your thoughts about, I was surprised, to be quite honest with you.
My thoughts about that was, in one sentence or two over the whole time, Coach Saban knows how to handle things.
Yes.
He knows how to handle things in the right way. You're always going to get a little bit of criticism. That's the way this world is. He knows how to handle things with the discipline of his players. He knows how to handle things when people have quit. He knows how to handle things where people want more money. And he knows how to handle things when a new staff comes in. And so my thought is that so many times it's hard on coaches. The coaches don't handle things quite as well as they need to. And I think in Nick Saban's case, he just about always handles things in a way that people who have any knowledge at all about that particular situation understand it.
Yeah, I think that's good way to put it. I think he does. He says the right things. He handles it the proper way. And you would think, man, there's no way the coach of the board want that guy in there hanging around his show. He's done it in a way that makes it look really good. He says all the right things. He's just present enough to where he's still here. And I keep Coach DeBoer's demeanor is totally different than Coach Saban's, and I think people are kind of enjoying that as well. I know the players, I heard deal with Jalen Milroe, talk about how much confidence they have in him and how excited they are around him. It's a different deal with him. Not that Coach's was wrong. Coach did it his way. Coach DeBoer's doing it his. I think they both work, and we'll see what it translates to during the season. But I like Coach being around and people not being intimidated by it. I think it's a good thing.
I want to jump just real quick. I don't mean to take away from what Barry's saying because he's right. But I think Mark Pope did an excellent job on his press conference at Kentucky. I heard Rick Pitino come out and he said they couldn't have hired a better person. They couldn't have hired a better. I really, it was great to hear. A better coach, a better person. They're going to have he's going to have a hard time trying to keep the players that are wanting to transfer, and he's got to fight to keep the players that they've already recruited. So he'll have a hard time there, and that's big. But I think they did a good job in hiring this guy. I think he loves Kentucky. I think he'll do a good job there. I don't mean to get away from football for folks, but I think I do think that the rest of the league will have a jump on him a little bit in Kentucky and Arkansas because both of them will be. I don't know, but it'll be a little bit different. The Tennessees and Alabama, some people might be able to jump them a little bit, but I do think besides Nick Saban's situation, that Mark Pope did a nice job trying to. Yeah,
I think what ended up happening was the AD fell into the right choice. After you watch all that, he was a better choice than Nate Oates, Hurley, or Drew for Kentucky. They had 20-something thousand, and they thought they were going to have 10, and they said 2,000 to 3,000 outside to get in the building.
That's right.
And then right in there in that bus, they rode in that bus in that national championship team in '96 to get off that bus, and he's holding that trophy. It was pretty. It give you chills, to be quite honest with you. He fell into the right hire. No disrespect to Nate Oates or Hurley or Drew, Mark Pope, and then those guys like
blue blood.
Pitino coming out and endorsing it was awesome. What he came out and said about the guy, he said, "I'm gonna give some NIL money to Kentucky." So for Mark Pope, and the reason I like it so much is I did get a chance to meet him when I was at Georgia, and much like Scotty Scheffler, what a great guy Mark Pope is. And we need more people like Mark Pope and Scotty Scheffler in sports, and less people like Travis Kelce, who's running around acting like a fool and everybody looking at him thinking that's the way to act. No, act like Scheffler and Pope. That's a little bit better there. I would take the break here. We got some phone calls. Holding, we'll get to the phone lines. 2-minute truck. They're at 1330 Martin Road East. That's where you go pick up your boxes, your packing supplies, whatever you need to make this a smooth movement. It's local, out of town, out of state. Let the professionals handle it. They'll take great care of you and your stuff. Give them a call today, 205-247-5050. That's 2 Men in a Truck, movers who care.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Now, we have picked up an accident on eastbound 2059 before Joe Malisham. It's on the shoulder, though. No lanes blocked. What's starting to have a bigger impact on traffic there is the road work. Right lane blocked, left lane is all that's passable. Again, this is eastbound 2059 right before you get to the Joe Malisham interchange. Very little of any backup through the area, though, at least for the moment. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread.
Good Monday morning. It's tax day. According to AAA, the average gas price in Alabama, $3.24 a gallon, up 13 cents from a month ago, down 5 cents a year ago. Nationally, the average is $3.63, which is 38 cents more than our state's average. In Tuscaloosa County, average price for a gallon of gas, $3.21 with
Ask your
doctor today about Skyrizi and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm and dry today. The sky mostly sunny. Tuscaloosa's high 85. Fair tonight, the low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny during the day. The chance of a few scattered showers tomorrow night. The high tomorrow at 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 54 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Follow Tide 100.9 on Facebook today to watch our live shows, read the great articles, and interact with Bama fans today.
We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. If it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, you don't want it. Build a 5-star backyard and do it with Yellowwood. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Tom in. Good morning, Tom.
Barry, good morning. Good morning, Coach. How are y'all? I am so sorry to hear about Steve Sloan.
He's a great person.
What a great you Coach. Everything you said was right. I grew up and followed it, and what a great person. And you know, I can't help but think about on the lighter side, with concerning Steve was, you know, when Joe Namath would imitate him the way he talked, and then his daddy talked just like him. I would get so tickled when Joe would do that. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do. To some degree, I do that. He and Joe were good friends, and you know, he took Joe's
They
place
really
a couple
were.
times. Yeah, they were good friends. Yeah.
He would imitate Steve, and Steve would be like, he would do it when he was like around him. He was on the stage with him or something. They'd laugh like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good stuff. That's good stuff.
And Barry, your comment this morning about Mark Pope and Scotty Scheffler, I appreciate you for taking that kind of stand and saying that sports needs more people. You are so right.
Yeah.
What a great statement that was, Barry. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you.
Now to the Masters. Coach, I thought it was a great Masters. And I thought Scotty played outstanding. You know, we had a little bit of everything, had a little bit of weather, wind, all that kind of stuff, but I thought it all went in to make a great Masters. But I want you, Doug comes on today. Do you think he'll be back yet and you'll interview him?
Yeah. Yeah.
I want you to bring something up. Okay, we all know about the good strokes and low score and all this kind of stuff, burn and all that, but I want you to bring something up with Doug. And I want you to hold his feet to the fire and make him address something for me.
I'll try to. If I can do that, I'll try.
Brad Faxon.
Yep.
Did you hear what that fool said?
No.
Oh, you didn't?
Oh, I did not hear what Brad said. I know Brad from a distance, but I
Well,
didn't
he's
hear
a
what he
fool.
said.
What did he say?
Okay, do y'all want to hear my version of it?
Yeah.
Brad Faxon popped off that big fat mouth over there while he was at Augusta, and he said the best thing for God would be for Bryson DeChambeau to win the match. That's what we need. I thought, you idiot, because a bunch of terrorists have come over here with money and corrupted the integrity of the game. Now you go jump out there and start talking about live and all like that. Coach, can you believe he said that?
Well, he was the one I didn't want to win because he was an NIL. The rest of them were fine. The kid from Sweden, I think the reason he was so, and I'm saying this ugly, I'm saying it right. The reason he was so relaxed and played so well, and he's so darn good, is that the meaning of Augusta had not caught him yet, Tom. He didn't realize he realized what he was doing, but he didn't realize the thoughts of Masters over here in the United States. So he played great too, and I was glad to see him play. But DeChambeau can take a flying leap at a barking dog. But so I was glad to see those guys that fought Scotty the way they did. All tried to catch him. I thought all of them played well.
Did you notice, Tom, that the TV coverage did not show one shot of Cam Smith. I didn't see him not one shot yesterday, and he was in contention.
Yeah, they did show one when he was in the woods. He was on his knee.
Well, I missed that one, but they did not show. You think that's calculated?
I saw him on Thursday and Friday.
Well, I'm talking about Sunday when he was because he was.
Oh no! You're right.
You know, when he was in the top 5 or 6 there. You know, one or two mess ups, and he do well. He was right in that tournament. They did not show a shot of his. You think that was calculated?
Yeah, probably. Coach, you kind of went away from what I was saying about Brad Faxon.
Yeah.
Why did you do that?
No, I didn't mean to. I didn't even think about it. I thought you got your point over it. I didn't hear him say that, but I agree.
Well, no, I wanted your opinion. I wanted your opinion on it.
I don't think Brad Faxon, being a PGA guy and trying to play, should say anything positive about LIV.
Well, he did.
Well, I know it, but I don't know what they did. I don't think the CBS people knew that he was going to do that. I don't know if they cut him off or not. I didn't hear him, but what you say is true.
He said that he didn't say it on the air. He said it. He was talking with someone, and they quoted him in the paper saying that.
No, I didn't see that.
But
yeah.
I wanted to get your take on that.
I agree with Brad Faxon doesn't need. No, anybody at the PGA, I could tell that John Rahm was a little bit apprehensive about giving that coat. If you saw that,
he sure did. You're exactly right.
Yeah, he was a little bit apprehensive about that.
He acted like he didn't want to shake Scotty's hand.
He looked uncomfortable.
Yeah, he looked very uncomfortable.
He did act like he didn't want to shake Scotty's hand.
If anybody else noticed that or not. But he looked uncomfortable, as Barry said to me. I thought he was uncomfortable doing it because he's come out this morning and said some guys didn't treat him very good. One guy hugged him.
I saw that.
He said that. But I would say Brad Faxon was out of place running his mouth. I agree.
Yeah, I wanted you to.
I'll say something to Doug about it.
Yeah, I want you to talk to him about it because I bet you anything there's some stuff behind the scenes. Now, you're the one that can get Doug to talk about the rest of it. He's not going to tell nothing to. But
I don't know.
Tell you.
I have a memory loss problem too.
I wrote it down, so I'll remind us. I'll ask.
Well, I tell you what, Coach, you need to press him on that because I tell you what, I just more and more the fact that those Saudis with that terrorism and all like that, and they come over here and these youngsters have failed for that crap and without anything, and they've compromised a game that me and you love and that we're not going to recognize.
Well, Phil Mickelson's come out with a statement. I'm not going to read it now about it. You might pull it up. The only thing I'd like for Brad Faxon to do is maybe help me with my putting.
Terrorism or no terrorism. It's going to be terrorism if it don't get better.
Thank you, Tom.
Thanks, Tom.
All right, see y'all. Bye.
All right, back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Philip in. Good morning, Philip.
Good morning, gentlemen. I hope y'all are good. And I'm Wimp. I could tell the hurt in your voice over the Steve Sloan news, and I'm sorry for his loss and for your loss with a friend such as him to you. So
yeah, he was a great one for the University of Alabama, no doubt about that.
Yes, he was. He was the athletic director, I believe, when Joe Ab Thomas was president, and I think Bill Curry was head coach.
Let me say this to you. I didn't mean to say it. I don't know. What happened there, I was over at the president's house that Sunday morning. And the president named the football coach before he named an athletic director. So when everybody got mad about Bill Curry and they blamed it on Steve Sloan, Steve Sloan had nothing to do with it. The president, I'm not criticizing the president, that's back a long time ago. The president hired the football coach before he hired the athletic director. It never happened before in the history of Alabama football. And so that's where they started trying to lay it on Steve Sloan, and Bill Curry did a better job than people want to give credit for. It's okay. But that's what happened there. I started to say that, I didn't, but you've led me into it.
Oh, yeah. I agree with you about Curry. I always thought he did a pretty good job. But he had a lot going against him, didn't he, Coach?
Yes, he did. He had a lot going against him. One of the biggest problems he had going against him was this, that Joab did not realize, I know a lot about all this stuff, he did not realize that he had never beaten Auburn. And that was the killer.
Hey, Barry, we were both wrong about the game. I underpinned. I said between 55 and 65,000. I think they said 72 something. So we were both wrong.
Yeah. Hey, credit to the Alabama fan for going.
That's right. And absolutely. And I tell you what, Coach DeBoer's got to. Man, he's got to feel good about that. That's got to put him over the moon. Wouldn't you think?
Yeah, I would think so. I think he's level-headed. I think he's a lot different than Coach Saban. I think he obviously appreciates the opportunity here. I think this guy's going to do. I think the players. It's a different building over there right now. I think the players are enjoying the change. Now we all know it comes down to winning, but I think this guy will win. So we'll see. As the portal opens up, I think they've mentioned they got to get some guys. We'll see how much turnover we have over there this week.
Right. Well, he got two good recruits this weekend, two commitments. I think a 5-star receiver from New Jersey, and then the linebacker from Rome, Georgia. So he had a nice weekend, didn't he?
He did. So I like the. We talked about Coach being there, but I like the way he's handling this. Don't you, Phillip? He's around, but he's not around to the point where you feel like you're in his shadow. He's being very supportive. Coach is handling this very well, I think, in my opinion. I want to get
He was interviewed at Augusta.
Yeah, I saw that.
He is handling it well, and I'm like you, Barry. It's good to have him around. I don't think he'll be busy during the fall. He'll be at probably one or two Alabama games, but other than that, he'll be at Clemson games and Georgia games and Texas games and all over. Apparently from what we've heard. So yeah, he's a great guy to have around. I'm glad he's on our side.
Yep. Thank you, Phillip.
Thank you.
See y'all.
Yeah, so I pulled up what Tom was talking about. Brad Faxon on, some Masters deal. The best thing for the game of golf right now would be for Bryson DeChambeau to win the Masters. He's 30 years old, 8-time winner on the PGA, and he's a different human being right now. We have this huge divide between the PGA and the LIV, and these guys, when they come from LIV, this is what they want. They want to play against the best players in the world. We have lost. What we have lost is our villains. We have lost the guys that make us root against somebody. We have lost rivalries. So he's thinking that him winning would create a rivalry there. So that would be good for golf, not for PGA, but for golf.
I don't think so.
Says we have the best player in the world, Scotty Scheffler, and he needs help creating something to make him more popular. I have no doubt that Scotty can win, but the best thing for golf would be if Bryson wins, Brad Faxon says. So when I heard Scotty Scheffler, say if his wife went into labor that he was leaving, and I told you, I think no way he would leave. Like now but I think he would have. Like they say he still drives a 2012 Yukon that he's always driven. Like money doesn't define him, doesn't mean anything to him. Fame doesn't mean anything to him. I really think.
If you had stepped up there on the 15th tee, with a 4-shot lead, and they came running over to you and said, she's fixed to go in labor right now, would he have left on the 15th tee?
I think he would have.
Oh, really?
I don't think anybody else would have.
Here's what I would have done. She's gone into labor, but don't say anything to him about it.
Well, if I were her, don't tell Scotty until he walks off the green on 18. Don't tell him, Justin.
I could see that, she's like, I let him do his thing. I think his one comment after he won makes me think he would have left more than anything, Barry. He talked about how deeply unsatisfying golf is as a profession. He said, I just won this. I'm not thinking about the Masters. I'm not thinking about the green jacket. I just want to go home.
Yeah.
He said that after he won.
Yeah.
Tom, I get a text from Ray Schussler, who's a great friend of mine, a teacher down in Gulf Shores. And here's what he says. And he's a very, very smart guy and a good person. Was shocked Faxon said what he said. But reason is he coaches McIlroy on putting, and McIlroy now wants LIV and the tour to come together, in my opinion. Scheffler and Tiger both want accountability if something happens, so nothing will happen till they agree. In other words, they want the accountability. Scheffler and Tiger want accountability. I'm not quite sure.
I think they're saying if they come together, they don't want to be able to just come back together. No punishment there for those guys that walked out on the PGA Tour.
He teaches McIlroy, which I didn't. McIlroy on his putting coach. McIlroy is, I think Tom, as well as myself, had a dislike for McIlroy. All of a sudden, we thought he turned where we kind of liked him, and now we don't know whether we like him or not. So we're kind of caught in the middle there.
Yeah. Well, I like Scotty Scheffler. And I think what Scotty Scheffler says is real. And I think he loves to compete, loves to win, but that's not what defines him. And this guy, money's not going to change him. He would never go to LIV because he don't care about money. Or these other guys, a lot of these guys probably do, which you can't blame them as well. All right, let's talk about Bob Prince and Prince Glover and Hayes before we get to break.
If you have an accident, that accident could have been avoided, and you're injured mentally or physically, and somebody has fixed things that should not have been fixed the way they were. You trip, hurt, whatever. Or if somebody comes after you on the highways, or if somebody in the neighborhood is mad about your dog being in their yard, and there's a confrontation over it, then these kinds of things that go over and over and over different ways. Prince Glover and Hayes at 345-1234 can do a great job of representing you after listening to your story. Once they listen to your story, they tell you whether you should go forward with it. If so, you go by 701 Rice Mountain Road. You visit with them, and off they go to try and plead your case. 345-1234, Prince Glover and Hayes.
PrinceLaw.net is the website. If they don't win, you don't pay. We go to break, get back. We got Chris on, and we'll get to
1,000 or visit mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Road tripping, business travel, or bringing your car in for repairs. All great reasons to rent a Toyota at Tuscaloosa Toyota. You can rent the latest Toyota models for a day, a week, or a weekend. Every Toyota rental-car comes with 24 hours roadside assistance.
And get up to 30% off today.
See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Mr. SEC Tournament Wimp Sanderson gives you his excellent analysis every weekday on Inside the Locker Room, right here on Tide 100.9.
Pressure treated pine from Great Southern Wood. Going to build the fence, the deck, the pergola. Only one choice. That's Yellowwood. Go to yellowwood.com for the dealer that is closest to you. All right, get to the Yellowwood hotline. Bring Chris into the show. Good morning, Chris.
Morning. Hey, good morning, coaches. How are y'all?
Good, man. How are you?
How are you?
Good. Hey, I wanted to get y'all's take a little bit on the Masters. I just want to say from the beginning, they've got to get these guys united somehow, because you can just tell the excitement is through the roof when the four majors come around, and you've got the best of the best out there. There's just something you can't replicate by removing them and playing even Riviera or Sawgrass or whatever. You you can't get that excitement that's generated. I really enjoyed watching these guys play. Watch out for that Oberg gentleman. He is that guy's got some talent. He's got a pure swing. But what did y'all think of Tiger? I watched more this year than I've been able to in the past, and he didn't seem to have as bad a limp, and he was able to get down without kind of using his club as a cane when he was looking at his putts. And I thought he had glimpses of his old self, and I was proud that he finished all 72 holes. And what did y'all think? What did y'all think of him, seeing him?
The problem with him was he hadn't played enough. He hasn't played but 9 or 18 holes, and I can't tell you when. Now your swing comes back to you for a certain period of time, and then when you get tired, that's a very hard course to walk. You don't play as well. So he wasn't ready to play. He's ready to play at the beginning of the tournament, maybe a little bit because he was rested, but he just doesn't have right now he hits it a long way, but his second shots are not as good as they used to be, and he's struggling some.
Yeah, I think it was amazing, though, Chris, in my opinion, that he made the cut. This guy, like you said, he hadn't been playing at all. For him to make the cut, and you see all the guys that did not make the cut. So that was, then I think he wore out over the weekend. But I think in his mind, he believes he can still win. But I was happy he made the cut. I hated that he played so poorly over the weekend, but it didn't seem to deter his enthusiasm at all. And I like his son was on the range with him on Sunday, kind of helped coaching him. So I know they're spending a lot of time together. So there were some neat things that came out of Tiger Woods playing in the Masters this week.
Yeah, I think that was a win for him to finish, make the cut and finish. So, and watch out for Scheffler, man. If these LIV guys don't join in, he's about to go on a tear because this guy's got ice water in his veins. So, appreciate it, gentlemen. Y'all
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Good call there. We'll see what happens. And I did find those quotes from Brad Faxon. We'll talk to Doug about that. Dad, Justin, they had the team, the Alabama basketball team. They honored them at the football game. Grant Nelson, a couple were not there. And I'm reading Grant's quote after the Final Four. And he said, if I do come back to college, I'm hoping it's Alabama. I'm definitely going to talk to my agent. Oh, my goodness. Talk to the coaches and see what's best for me. Hopefully I can enter the draft process and get drafted this year. But if all fails, hopefully it's Alabama coming back. So what is he saying there? Hopefully.
What he's saying there, son.
Well, I know what he's saying. Go ahead.
You know what he's saying. He's saying there, if the money's right, I'm coming back to Alabama.
Yeah.
If the money's not right, I'm going where it is. So this is what you're getting with that. I have no idea what the others with one kid gone, and Lestrada. Two of the guards are 88 now at the gate. Now I know they've gotten some, two supposedly good ones. One from Pepperdine, and they've signed whatever. But I think that he has said just exactly. You know what he said because you know it. You knew it without saying it.
Yeah.
That he's saying if the money's right, I'll come back. Hopefully, they're going to pay me what they deserve, what I deserve. Now, I know nothing. My feeling is that the kid from Texas who left, the kid from Alabama that left, got put in the transfer portal. The one kid that played so much, gone blank name-wise.
Riley Griffin.
Yeah, Riley Griffin. Didn't like the money situation. Didn't like that. As far as what happens to you, you get in by yourself with another person. You're together in groups. You talk about what you're getting and what you're going to get. What the assistant coach said you were getting, and I think it's a factor. Not just Alabama, everywhere.
Yeah, the unfortunate thing is, these freshman kids come in, and it takes freshmen a little bit of a time. Chris Parker, portal. Devin Cosby, portal, and those guys were probably told to go to the portal because they've oversigned. They got to make room. I would think this is me speculating. Wagyu, he's okay. They're going to feel like they need better. I bet you'll see him go to the portal if they can get somebody better. So that's the problem is these guys, if they can go get somebody better, they just get you out of here and go get somebody better. Yes, Justin, you were going to comment.
I was going to say about Rylan Griffin. Apparently this weekend he was on an Instagram Live where he was being asked questions about potentially whatever team he might end up on through the transfer portal playing Alabama. And he commented on, well, if I play Alabama, they're not going to have defense. So maybe that was a factor in him transfer.
He said, if I play Alabama, I thought he said something about roll tide, roll forever or something.
He said that as well. But then his comments were more along the lines of, if I
so
play.
He's bitter, probably. Yeah. This is us of course, it's radio. We can do that. He's bitter. More than likely, you bring in you don't get McDonald's All-Americans for free now. So you're a guy who's a junior and you got McDonald's All-Americans coming in. They're probably getting more than you, and you just took this program, but you were part of a team that took this team to first Final Four, and you want to be compensated.
Here's what happens. You've got a guard on your team who doesn't know whether he's going to go pro. But you would love to have him back. And so the money that you've got, and they've got a pile of it, you try to do everything you possibly can to be sure that he decides he wants to come back. And when he does, your mother says to you, you're as good as he is. And it becomes a mess behind the scenes that we don't know it. Barry, like Barry said, this is radio. We can't say, but I can tell you right now, anytime you're giving somebody something, the other something wants something too.
Yeah. What a way to have to recruit, where the APR is going out the window. It's like Mark Pope, that 7'2" kid from Kentucky. Now, he's going to sit down this is a foreign kid, so he can't get any NIL money. It's illegal for those guys to get NIL money. It
is?
Yes. They can't get NIL money.
I didn't know that.
Yes. So if you're not from the United States, you can't get it.
You still can't slip it to them?
You can, but they could get deported, I guess. I don't know. I don't believe they're eligible for it. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think I am.
Wow, I have never heard that.
Yeah. So, but can you imagine, Justin, the NIL money that's about to pour into Lexington, Kentucky? I guarantee you, however many people they had as a member or whatever their NIL collective thing is, whatever it was, it grew 150% yesterday, with 2,000 people outside waiting to get in.
Is that cotton picking believable?
They thought they said they kept coming, and they kept coming. And before you know it, it was sold out, and there was 2,000 or 3,000 people still outside waiting to get in. You think Nate Oates looked at that, Justin, and said, of course, they wouldn't have done that for Nate Oates. No disrespect. He's just not one of them. He didn't win a national championship, so they hit a home run on that. Do you think he looked at that and said, God, Lee, I had no idea they had that kind of fan base. Maybe I should have said yes. Maybe I should.
4 little girls. They'll have 4 little boyfriends. Ain't no doubt about that.
Maybe I should. And Mark Pope, those girls came in. They had his jersey on. His wife was fired up. He got a beautiful wife. He was fired. Mark Pope's on top of the world right now. You see the little kids with the little Pope hats on?
He walked out of the bus with that national championship team holding the trophy, lifting it
They're
up.
going to shoot a bunch of threes, too. A better. He's going to run a lot of offense to shoot threes, where Cal didn't.
Yeah, so now Reed Shepherd's got a lot of pressure on him. Of course, his daddy was on the bus as well. He was on that national championship team, and he and Mark Pope, I think, were roommates. So
I don't think Reed Shepherd's going anywhere.
He's projected to be a top 10 pick.
No, I don't think he's. Oh, you mean go pro? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, they asked his daddy about it. He said they're, doing it all behind closed doors, and He understands. He loves Kentucky. He's a Kentucky boy, but, I don't know. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see what happens. All right, we take the break here. We get back one more break. 8:15, we'll have Doug Bell as well. Look forward to visiting with Doug. We'll take your phone calls till 8:15, 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9 SE, home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Our earlier accident on eastbound 2059 near Joe Malisham has cleared. Now, it was on the shoulder most of the time anyway, but now it appears to be gone altogether. What we do have still in that area, though, is the road work. Right lane blocked. Left lane is all that's passable. Small backup, if any, though, through the area there. If you're traveling Lurling Wallace down from Northport, a bit more volume now crossing the Hugh Thomas Bridge to University, but no big accidents. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Ray Romero.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, it's Gary Harris. Coming up Monday morning, we'll recap a busy Alabama sports weekend. Alabama baseball, 3-game series against number 1 ranked Arkansas. Softball getting ready to wrap up their series against A&M on Monday night. And, of course, A-Day 2024 will be in the books. Rodney Orr will join me to talk about that. And, of course, Casey Smith on golf as we look back at the Masters. That's Monday morning.
Smart, innovative appliances from GE Profile. Right now, save up to $2,300 on select kitchen packages with Spring Black Friday savings at the Home Depot. How doers get more done.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm and dry today. The sky mostly sunny. Tuscaloosa's high 85. Fair tonight, the low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny during the day. The chance of a few scattered showers tomorrow night. The high tomorrow at 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 58 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Find Tide on Twitter at Tide109 to keep up with show announcements, guests, and our reporters in the field.
We want to thank Yellowwood Pressure Treated Pine from Great Southern. They made the 7 o'clock hour possible. Always remember, if it doesn't have the yellow tag on it, then you don't want it. I would take the top of the hour break. We got Pat holding. We'll get to Pat. I'd love to have more phone calls, 205-342-9904. You listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
DrMartyPets.com/deal or text DEAL to 511-511. Text DEAL to 511-511. All dogs are unique. Your dog's results can and will vary. Message and data rates may apply.
It's the Tide 100.9 30K Workday Payday. Woo! Win cash every weekday 8 to 5. Here's this hour's cash code.
296. Again, that's 296. The code is 296.
Enter that code now on the Tide 100.9 app. Click on the 30K Payday button and enter the code for a chance to win $30,000.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Eddie Garcia.
In golf at the 88th Masters, Scotty Scheffler shot a final round 68 to finish 4 under for the day, 11 under for the tournament, and finished with a 4-shot victory. He captures his second green jacket in the last 3 years. Tiger Woods finished 60th. In NBA, we had the final day of the regular season on Sunday. Thunder over the Mavericks, 135-86. Oklahoma City gets the 1 seed in the West. Nuggets beat the Grizzlies, 126-111. Denver, the 2 seed in the West. Suns down the Timberwolves, 125-106. Minnesota falls to the 3 seed in the West, while Phoenix captures the 6 seed, avoids the play-in, and will face the Timberwolves in the first round. Celtics wrap up the regular season with a league-best 64-18 record. They're the 1 seed in the East. They beat the Wizards 132-122. Knicks are the 2 seed after getting by the Bulls 120-119. Bucks fall to the 3 seed. They lose to the Magic 113-88. Milwaukee will face Indiana in the first round of the playoffs. Orlando will take on Cleveland.
Inside the locker room with former Crimson Tide basketball coach Wimp Sanderson and his son, former SEC and ACC assistant basketball coach Barry Sanderson. It's time to take you inside the locker room on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to the second hour of Inside the Locker Room. Allstate Insurance agent Andrew Kniffer. He's my agent. Let him become yours. I did 4705 McFarland Boulevard, Suite 3 over in Northport. Don't just pay your bill. Know what you're paying. Give him a call today. Looking for home life. I know he'll take great care of you. He does it for me. 205-722-9201. All right, get to the Andrew Kniffer hotline. Get Pat in. Good morning, Pat.
Hey, good morning, guys. I was a little disappointed in the Alabama crowd. That I thought for sure that it just meant more in Tuscaloosa. Undoubtedly, it does not. They only have 72,000 for a practice game. Whenever Coach Saban commanded 100,000 and 30,000 outside waiting to get in. But anyway, enough about that. I've complained enough about that this morning already to Groovy Orman. But what I called about was y'all shocked that Miss Adams is actually a great evaluator of speed? You know, I've been talking about all year long, ever since he was recruited, that his mama said he was fast. His mama said he was fast. Well, he showed out at A-Day. He had quite a few targets and he held for the ball for field goals too. And, I was shocked at how well Cole Adams did play. What about y'all?
That?
Well, yeah, I think he's faster than I didn't realize I didn't know how fast he was, to be honest with you. So he showed that their running game is really good if they block. And it's awfully hard to tell because the blocking is not continuous blocking, but his speed is great if he can get in the open field or if he can get by, if he can get by the blockers. So he's going to be some runner, no doubt about it.
Yep. But anyway, I was just, like I said, I was happy to see him catch the ball as much as he caught the ball and get as many targets as he got. But fellas, and I understand we didn't have enough people to do this and do that, and then from what I'm hearing though, that we've actually got some really good opportunities in the transfer portal, and that there's already quite a few kids that they're looking at that they have a very good shot at getting in. And it may be that Alabama is one of the big spenders when it comes to the transfer portal. What do you guys think?
I saw Caden Proctor, who's obviously not in the portal yet, but he was at the game. So I guess, Pat, has he already moved back to Tuscaloosa? So that's not a very big secret that he's coming back, which is nice to get him back. I think they'll be selective in the portal. You can't make a mistake. You gotta, if you bring in a guy, he's almost got to be a starter or providing some depth at a certain position. And so I know they know what they need now going through this spring as far as depth wise and where they think maybe they need to get better to start. And I'm sure we'll just trust this coaching staff to do their homework and go out and get the best guys possible, because I think they'll have a chance to get them for sure.
Okay. All right, guys. Hey, y'all have a blessed day. Coach, go down and hit the golf ball today. It's beautiful weather, man, on the coast.
Yeah, I wish I could. Monday's a tough day for me.
Thank you, Pat.
I got you. Have a blessed one, guys. Bye-bye.
All right, Dad, let's go back real quick. We started the show. Alabama lost a legend last night with Steve Sloan. I wanted to get some people maybe not didn't get to hear about what you said there, but he passed away last night.
Steve Sloan, who is one of my all-time favorites, and hopefully if you're of age like I am, you will appreciate the kind of person that Steve Sloan was. He won the championship in '65, the national championship when they beat Nebraska. But more than that, he was the kind of guy that he was a great athletic director, one of the greatest I ever had. He was for everybody. He tried to help everybody. He died yesterday afternoon with his wife by his side. He'd had some memory loss. He's 79 years of age. His wife has been very, very sick. He's been right by her side for a long, long time. He lived in Orlando. Nobody meant any more to me. Gene Stallings recruited him. They had a situation where he was able to play against Ole Miss, and I believe the Cotton Bowl, and win 12-7.
when they had a disciplinary problem, and they decided they weren't going to change, weren't going to do anything, but not let him play, and end up letting Steve play, and he was great. He's had a lot of honors. Certainly had great honor to be in the National Alumni, Coach Bryant's alumni pick is one of the great alumni in the history of Alabama football, and a great basketball player in high school. They won the state championship. But more than all of this, he was just the kind of guy that you loved and cared about. And he left, and he was able to get the job. They offered him the job after they had hired the football coach, which is quite different. And so he got, they wanted to bust him for that, but it had nothing to do with it. The football coach was named when he became the AD. I was happy to be there when that happened. So my thoughts are he lost a son, 53-year-old son, and still had one son left. And for all of you who cared a lot about Alabama football, then you should care a lot about Steve Sloan. Thank you.
Yeah. All right. That's tough deal there. So appreciate you sharing your thoughts there. Also want to congratulate Coach Vaughn over the weekend. Lost Friday. Obviously, Arkansas has probably the best pitcher in the country. So normally Friday's a win for those guys. Boom, you chalk it up. This guy, Hagen, I think it's Hagen Smith. I maybe get his name wrong. Hagen, whatever. He's good. But to win Saturday, the game ended up, they were up, gave up a home run in the ninth, I think, to get the thing to extra. Before to go to extra innings, Arkansas hit a home run. But they pulled that game out. And then yesterday, freshman Alabama has the freshman left-handed pitcher, Zane Adams, pitched 8 innings, only gave up 4 hits, struck out 5. Alton Davis came in and closed it out. They won 5-0. So a great deal to knock off the number one team in the nation, take 2 out of 3 from those guys. So congratulations to the Alabama baseball team. Looking at the standings here in the West, Arkansas still on top at 12-3, A&M 11-4, Mississippi State 7-8, Alabama right there at 6-9, Ole Miss 5-10, LSU, who won the national championship 3-12, and Auburn is really struggling, is 2-13, I believe. It says 2-12. I believe they're 2-13 there. So Kentucky is still winning the East at 13-1, and Tennessee is second there at 10-5. Vanderbilt 8-7. South Carolina, Georgia, South Carolina 8-7. Georgia 7-8. But it looks like Auburn's going to have a hard time even making the SEC tournament. So the pitching has really struggled there. But congratulations to Coach Vaughn and the Alabama baseball team for taking 2 out of 3 from the Arkansas Razorbacks. All right, we take the break here. We'll get Doug Bell in. Before we do it, though, I'll tell you about Tuscaloosa Toyota. Go to the great website, TuscaloosaToyota.com. They revamped the website. You can buy 3 tires, get 1 for $1 this month. So you got a great special going on. Go to the website, look at all the new inventory, the used inventory. You can rent a Toyota right there on the website. If you need to order a part, schedule a service, whatever you need, it's right there on the website. Swing by Skyland Boulevard as well. Justin, David DeSantis, those guys will take great care of you. We talk about the 2024s that are in. The Grand Highlanders, a hot new SUV. They got plenty of trucks options out there. The Toyota Camrys, the RAVs, always a hot seller at Tuscaloosa Toyota. Swing by there today and tell them that Wimp and Barry sent you. Listen to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. We are looking at an accident along the southbound lanes of Skyland Boulevard at Hargrove Road. It does appear to be out of the roadway there, as we aren't seeing a whole lot of backup there. Road work is rolled out on southbound 171 at Silver Drive in Northport. That's expected to continue in
UA.edu/RiseGolf24 to register your foursome for a great day together, playing golf, mingling with Alabama celebrity athletes, and helping the children at Rise.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm and dry today. The sky mostly sunny. Tuscaloosa's high 85. Fair tonight, the low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny during the day. The chance of a few scattered showers tomorrow night. The high tomorrow at 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 62 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Well, welcome back to Inside the Locker Room. We'll get right to the Yellowwood Hotline. He's with PGA Tour Radio, PGA Tour Live, CBS Sports headquarters. Joins us every Monday. Doug Bell. Good morning, Doug. How are you?
Hey, Barry. Hey, Coach. I'm doing great. A lot of fun last week at the Masters, and Scotty Scheffler's the man right now. There's no doubt.
Yeah.
You know, he never changes the look of his feet on his swing. Is very, very consistent. You know, sometimes people are trying to hit it left and trying to draw it, sometimes trying to fade it with their grips and so forth. But for him, it looks to me, and you know, I've studied golf. I can't play very good, but it's a consistent swing, I think.
It is, Coach, and you know, it's interesting. He grew up in New Jersey, and his dad moved the family to Dallas when he was 7 years old. He's 27 now. And he started working when he was 7 with Randy Smith, who was one of the gentlemen that he hugged there as he walked off the course yesterday. Right. And he's been his only instructor. And the one thing Randy he's always had that little pirouette move with his feet, and Randy never tried to change it because he said, you know, even as a young guy, he hits it so consistently in the middle of the club face. So, kudos to Randy Smith for that. But hey, guys, let me tell you this about, and the listeners may not realize this is a guy, Scotty Scheffler, is 27 years old. He has no endorsements. He doesn't do any commercials. He's not a spokesman for the PGA Tour or LIV, or you know, he's just kind of he's a low key guy. And right now, he's playing obviously better than anybody by a wide margin. What does he do? Well, he goes home in his off week and he practices golf. That's all he does. He still drives the same 2012 Yukon that his dad bought in Augusta way back when because his sister lived there. It's got 200,000 miles on it. I mean, he's the epitome of he's just a golfer. He's nothing else. He's not a businessman. He's not a guy who wants commercials. He's just a golfer, and right now is playing. I mean, we're talking a huge gap between him and Rory McIlroy, who's the number two player in the world. It's not a surprise that he won again at the Masters. And again, he'll tee it up again this week at the RBC Heritage, which is the signature event. All the big names are back this week.
Aberg, a kid from overseas, I thought I made this statement, you can correct me, is that he was loose and goose and can really play, but didn't bother me. And I thought the reason a little bit was because I'm not sure he really realized the enormity of that tournament. You may be laughing at me and say, "Oh, sure he does." I'm not sure he really thought about that, what that meant to the people of the United States. And so I think he just played loose because he didn't feel like he had any pressure on him. Am I wrong?
No, Coach, you're right on. It's funny you say that because last night, my last report for CBS Digital there, the reporter asked me, he said, I got the feeling that Oberg didn't realize how big the moment was. And I was like, you know, and I think that's true. I don't think it's quite sunk in yet what he's accomplished. You know, 1 year ago, he was preparing for the Big 12 golf championships, Ludwig Oberg. A year ago. And since then, he has won on the European Tour. He's won on the PGA Tour, the RSM Classic. He's been the star of the Ryder Cup team. And now, yesterday, completed his not just first Masters, but first ever major championship, and he finishes second. Think about that year for the guy. He's really talented, but Coach, I think you're right. I don't think he quite understands the enormity of what he's accomplishing.
Now, before Barry goes on, he's got some things.
I need to do this because I forget it. Tom, one of our great listeners has wanted you to comment about an interview that Brad Faxton gave. And he said in that interview that it would be great for golf if DeChambeau won the golf tournament. That to me, that's ridiculous. It looks to me like you want a PGA guy to win it. The things he said irritated a lot of people. So he just said that he thought that's the guy that should win it. Your comments about, I hope I'm asking the question correctly.
Yeah.
If it don't
I hear you.
correct me. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I hear you. And I will say this. We need all the guys back because that's what made this Masters, to me, so exciting and so intriguing is the fact that Rahm was back. Haven't seen him all year. DeChambeau was back. Koepka was back. DJ was back. All these guys are back, and we need them. That's the popularity of the game when everybody's playing together on the biggest stage. And DeChambeau is incredibly exciting, and golf needs that because, forever most golfers look alike, sound alike, they're built alike, they wear the same clothes, and he's different. There's no question. He's a little quirky. Some people will say he's kind of weird, but I think golf needs that. Sports needs that. You need somebody.
But if he won, but is that going to bring people back?
No, not at all. Not at all. I think what brings people back is the fact that they were all there, Coach. And I'll say this about the LIV guys, and DeChambeau said it himself, and I thought this was a telling statement because Rahm didn't play great. DeChambeau said, listen, where we play, we don't play greens that are even remotely close to this speed. And he was talking about the LIV tournaments. They play resort courses. They play 54 holes. The courses LIV plays, just regular people are playing them days leading up to the tournament, and then they put up the ropes, and then they play these tournaments. And I think that was telling. DeChambeau said he never could figure out the speed of the greens because he said, I'm just not used to it. And I thought that was a telling sign.
I didn't want a LIV guy. I didn't want a LIV guy to win it.
Well, I didn't either. I like those guys, and it's great to see them, and I miss them. I really do. But I don't think the game needed a LIV guy to win. In fact, I would take the other side of it. If a LIV guy had won, I think it would have hurt. It would have hurt the game.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree with saying we need villains. We need competition. So if Bryson won, it would create a rivalry between he and Scotty Scheffler. He didn't say if Scheffler won, it wouldn't, but I think he wanted, because he's kind of divisive, that if he won, it would help golf. Do you see it that way, Doug?
Well, no, I don't, and I think it was such a contrast. Listen, Scotty Scheffler is the best golfer in the world right now by a wide margin. I mean, if you look at the statistics, let me just throw this out there. From 100 to 125 yards. For the year, Scotty Scheffler averages 13.3 feet in proximity. The rest of the tour, averages 19 feet 9 inches. He is about 7 feet closer with a wedge than anybody else. So what I'm saying is DeChambeau he's not even remotely close to Scheffler.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the LIV guys, listen, and I think what we saw is a John Rahm who doesn't play championship golf anymore. And I think it was clear rust on his game. So, listen, those guys need to come back, and I think eventually they will, probably in the next year, maybe 18 months. Something will be worked out. Even Tiger said that in his press conference this week. He goes, we're still a ways away, but he goes, we are meeting. I mean, Tiger's in on those meetings. But don't
you think? Don't let me interrupt you. If they come back to the PGA, shouldn't they just drop LIV for good? That's what I think.
Well, I think LIV wants the team competition. They feel this was our baby, the team competition, and we want that to continue.
Ain't nobody gonna watch that crap, that team competition stuff.
Some people are saying the fall, when football's going on, that's when you'd have your team competition. It would be different, and maybe you could play then. So the craziest thing, though, guys, Greg Norman was not allowed
he didn't have a
credential.
Ticket.
He had to buy. He went to StubHub or something and had to buy a secondary ticket, which was funny in itself. And then he goes on social media talking about hundreds of people are approaching him, telling him how great Liv is and to keep it going, which I was like, please. We're not buying that.
He was there?
He was there.
Oh, yeah,
he
he
had
was
to buy
there.
a ticket, Barry.
He bought a
ticket. Yeah, he bought a ticket on StubHub.
I'll tell you what, that takes guts to go, to be honest with you. I think.
Yeah.
Anyway, I can't believe, Doug, that as always, when I lived in Columbia, you'd have at the University of South Carolina, they'd have the Masters, and then they had the RBC Heritage. So that was kind of a deal where everybody goes down there and just kind of hangs out and has a great time. It's a fun event, but that's a signature event now, Doug.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, especially the week after the Masters.
Yeah, RBC is obviously a massive sponsor. They do that tournament and they sponsor the Canadian Open. And so they wanted an elevated event. It just happens to be the week after the Masters, which to me I think is terrible timing. But
sure,
maybe not. Maybe you strike while the iron's hot.
You
think the last thing in the world that people in the United States would care about is cotton picking team golf. They wouldn't give you 50 cotton picking cents for a team golf with one guy's hoping the guy on his team makes a bird. That's stupid. They not. I don't care. Alabama has to be playing nobody or over nobody.
They like it for the gambling aspect, right, Doug?
Maybe so.
Yeah.
Maybe
yes. That's it. And
you might be right there.
Well, no, they create a gambling platform, and like for example, John Rahm, he signed that massive contract, and he owns the team. He owns his team. So whatever money they make, he divvies it up, et cetera. He's like the president of a sports franchise.
I'm dead wrong
that's
about
what I
that.
hope.
The gambling is a big factor. Barry's right. Yeah.
And you can see watching a football game and at the same time on your phone going, well, let's keep up with, so-and-so's team, Ron's team, Justin Thomas's team, whoever's team, right? And that's what they hope.
As far as us getting on the radio, people getting on television, they got on saying by our golf yesterday, so and so what team. I just don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah, Doug, tell the listener because I don't know if people watch the press conferences about Scotty Scheffler. I mean, what a good guy this guy is. I think so many kids were all running to Travis Kelce, who's running around acting like a fool chasing Taylor Swift around, but this guy's really grounded. Scotty Scheffler, like you said, he's still driving his 2012 Yukon. I really believe, and I don't think his wife would have told him, but if he was on the 15th tee on Sunday and they walked up and said she has just gone into labor, I think the guy would have left. I think he really would have.
I wouldn't have let him. I told him if I'd been his wife, I'd have said, "Don't do it, baby. Baby ain't here yet."
Maybe in his shoes. And we don't ever know. We would, but he is the kind of guy that would. I don't think he'd ever go to LIV because money doesn't mean anything to this guy. Not that if money does, that doesn't make anything make it wrong. But this guy's completely different than most people you see, and he's set such a great example. Just your thought. Just tell the listener how this guy really is.
Well, somebody asked him about his car, and he said he laughs because the sticker's still on the back that says GMC Augusta, Georgia, and he said he gets a big kick out of that because the Masters is so important to him. But somebody asked him, why don't you buy a new car? I mean, for heaven's sake, you have all this money. He set the money record the last few years for most money made each year by a PGA Tour player. And he simply said, he goes, why would I need a new car? Because all I do is drive from home to the golf course and back. Because that's the only place I go.
Yeah.
And everybody said, oh. And he goes, well, occasionally my wife and I may go out on a date night, but he goes, we just take her car. And so, I mean, that's the guy, right? I mean, he's a simple guy. And this was the other story that was interesting. Several years back, I was interviewing him before he started all this winning. And it was early, and he'd finished early. And I said, well, what are you going to do tonight? And he said, well, I'm probably just going to go to Chipotle and go back and watch something on Netflix. I said, okay. And then I saw his dad the next day, who's a great guy, by the way, Scotty Sr. And I told him the story, and he laughed. He goes, Doug, he eats at Chipotle every night. He goes, that's all he does. He goes to a tournament, he'll find where the Chipotle is, and that's what he's doing. So, I mean, this is a simple guy who's grounded. He's a Christian, talks openly about that. And let me tell you this about Ted Scott, his caddy, guys. Now, before he joined up with Ted Scott, Scotty Scheffler had played in 59 tournaments, no wins. He'd come close, but no wins. He changes to Bubba Watson's caddy. That was a mutual thing. And now they played 57 tournaments, and he has 9 wins, including 2 Masters and a Players. So that's a pretty good marriage between Scotty Scheffler and Ted Scott. I mean, whatever Scott brought to the table, it elevated Scotty's game now. And I don't give caddies too much credit, but in this case, I think it was the perfect fit for Scotty Scheffler. Elevated his career.
Yeah, he wouldn't, when I guess you walk through after winning, he was yelling for his caddy to get over there because he wanted him to make the walk with him. Pretty special there, Doug.
Yeah, well, and it was funny. Most of the time, the caddy will go back out to the green after all the hoopla and take the flag off the stick. It's kind of a thing. The caddies get to keep the flag. But Ted Scott
got more than the flag.
He grabbed a stick.
Yeah,
he grabbed a stick. Yeah, and he was walking off with the stick and everything. So I thought that was pretty funny. I don't know. It really was a great week, and it culminated. And he's the first. Tiger was the last prohibitive favorite to go in and win the Masters, and that was 2005. So normally the favorites just don't fare well in modern day Masters history, but he did, and he was the big time favorite, guys. He was like 4-1, and I think Rory was like 10-1. So you didn't win a lot of money if you bet on Scotty, but you won. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Well, the Ryder Cup captain kind of got yacked at, didn't he?
He did. He did. Zach. That was interesting because he took a triple bogey at 12.
Yeah.
And at the time, he knew he was going to miss the cut. He played very poorly and hasn't played great golf in a long time. And he said he was grumbling to himself when he dropped the F-bomb. And, nowadays you have cameras and microphones everywhere. There's nothing sacred anymore. And, of course, it came out on social media. You know how things blow up, that he was yelling that at a patron. And Zach had to defend himself, that he said, listen, he went through this whole explanation that, he was cursing himself, not the patron. And I believe him because, Coach, as you know, Barry, the 12th hole is 200 yards away from the patrons. No patrons are allowed back behind 12 up over the Hogan Bridge. And so yeah, but that was...
Well, I'd like to make an announcement on that, if you don't mind, Doug.
Sure.
I partied. It's the only par I had.
Oh, and let me tell you this story, guys. They have a lottery for the media, and 24 media members get to play it today. The course just as it's set up. I've never been chosen in that lottery, but a young reporter from South Carolina, she's in her second year working in the sports department there, has never played a round of golf. She's thinking about taking it up, and she got chosen to play Augusta National.
No.
And so her first ever round of golf, ever, she said, I've hit a few balls here and there.
No.
Will be at Augusta National.
That's disrespectful to Augusta.
Do they have
National.
any golf balls? Do they have enough golf balls?
Well, I mean, can you imagine that? I mean, that's crazy.
All right, hit on these two things here, Doug.
Sure.
Tiger Woods making the cut, I think it was remarkable. You look at the people that didn't. I know he didn't play well over the weekend. Does he still think he can win on this tour? That's number one. And is Justin Thomas going to ever get this thing back? Terrible. What a bad finish that he had on Friday. Talk about those two guys.
Well, first off, Tiger, remarkable that he played all 4 days.
Yeah.
And he played really good Thursday, Friday, and he actually got the good draw. I thought it was the bad draw when he had to come back Friday and play 5 extra holes, but turned out to be good because the wind got crazy after lunch.
Yeah, that's terrible.
But yeah, I mean, his first full tournament of the year. I mean, it's amazing. He's only played 3 full tournaments in 4 years. Think about that. And without prompting, afterwards they asked him about his round, and nobody even asked him about the future because we all assumed we may not see him the rest of the year. And without being prompted, Tiger said, I need to go home and get stronger and get better as I prepare for Valhalla, the PGA, Pinehurst, the U.S. Open, and Troon, the Open Championship. So we were all like, wow. So I think he has plans to play the other majors. So that was welcome news. But he does have a long way to go, obviously.
Sure.
And as for Justin Thomas, I think, guys, he switched caddies right before the Masters, and it looked like he was going to make the cut, and then just absolutely blew up last 7 holes there on Friday. So he hasn't made a cut, guys, in quite some time, playing very poorly. And I think, this is just my opinion, when you look at, we've talked about Scotty Scheffler, how simple his life is, and everything's good, and he's all golf. And I think on the case of JT, I think he moved into, this massive, beautiful home. He's married recently. A lot's going on. He has a lot of business dealings now with Tiger and Rory, and he's going to be part of that. There's a lot going on in his life, changing caddies. So I think somehow he just needs to stabilize things. He's too good to go forever without getting it back. But right now is the low point of his professional career. And I'm amazed because we're talking, this guy, I follow Justin Thomas a lot. He is supremely gifted. He's one of the great players in the game, but right now he's being humbled because he simply cannot make a cut in these big times. He'll be playing this week, and I think that'll be a big event for him to try to get it back this week at the RBC Heritage.
Did you say Scheffler was going to play even with his wife's situation?
Yes. In his press conference last night, that he laughed, and he said, he even said, listen, the game of golf, he goes, it's hard to enjoy a win like this because he goes, I'll be teeing it up again on Thursday. And so he flew home last night, and he'll spend time with his wife, obviously, who is due, by the way, at the end of the month. So when he talked about it, she had the baby, which obviously could happen, but she's actually due at the end of the month, and so he will fly out. He's familiar with the golf course, so from what I understand, he'll fly out Tuesday afternoon, Tuesday evening, play a little practice round maybe on Wednesday, and then tee it up on Thursday.
Well, that's a good media story. I was reading they did that.
Yeah.
He's looking for attention.
That's sure. Well, the media was looking to be able to say something like that.
Yeah, babies can come at any moment, as we know. But
come on, not to the end of the month. But that was a fake deal.
Well, it made for a great story, though.
Oh yeah.
Because that would have been interesting if, as Barry brought up, what if, turning to number 10, they came to him and said, "Hey, your wife's going into labor. Would he have just hightailed it out?"
Yeah.
I'd have said, give her another shot.
I wonder if we'd asked you to pick the winner. Obviously, we looked at all the who's good odds, whatever. Did people? He wasn't very good odds. As far as return on your money or whatever for Scheffler to win it. Do you think a lot of people bet on Scotty Scheffler to win the tournament at those odds?
Well,
Doug?
yeah. I think one of the bets was you could bet on Scotty Scheffler or the rest of the field.
Oh.
I thought that was interesting. And there was a 3-player parlay, too. I think it was Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, and John Rahm, and the rest of the field. So there were some bets like that where, again, though, he is such an overwhelming favorite. And I kind of, I called him the other night on one of my shows. I called him, he's like Secretariat in a horse race. There's a lot of good thoroughbreds out there, but he's just better than the other horses right now. There's, again, everything he does, if you look at his statistics, and now his putting has woken up. And Morikawa said it best. Morikawa played junior golf with him. And he said, listen, people don't realize I've played with this guy ever since he was a junior, and his short game is great. And his putting is always good. He goes, everybody kept talking about how bad his putting was, and Morikawa said, I knew it was going to come back because I've seen him putt really well. But Morikawa said the one thing that he's doing better than anybody else is his iron play. Nobody is hitting irons better than Scotty Scheffler.
Yeah.
We say that all the time, right? You hear that ball striker. He's a great ball striker. Well, there's a big, massive gap in between Scotty and everybody else as far as the irons. We're talking like the last time it was this big a gap, it was Tiger Woods back 24 years ago when Tiger was dominating like in 2000, 2001, 2002. So we need to give this guy credit. Again, he's not a media hound. We're not going to see him, bust out with commercials. He doesn't say outlandish things. He's not on social media. I guess you could say he's boring, but wow.
Yeah.
It's pretty good to be boring and be that good.
Yeah, here, Justin's got a question for you. Go ahead, Justin.
Doug, you just made a interesting comparison there. You said Secretariat, and we know Secretariat's known for winning the Triple Crown. Does Scotty have a chance at the Grand Slam this year?
Wow, what a great question. No, I don't think so. Just because golf being what it is, bad bounce here, an errant tee shot there. And there's a lot of guys. I mean, there's good players, but no, he's not going to win the Grand Slam. But I will say this, the Masters, and you can say whatever you want about the Open Championship and the U.S. Open. They've been around longer. But the Masters is the preeminent tournament now in the modern age of golf. The TV ratings are crazy. No other golf tournament even remotely compares. And all the players will tell you they want to win a green jacket more than anything else. Maybe a European player will just pay homage to the Open Championship, but they all want to win the green jacket and all that goes with it. To be known as a Masters champion for the rest of your career is something that they all want. And Scotty Scheffler now has done it twice in 3 years, guys. Pretty incredible.
Yep. All right, Doug, tell them about MD Wellness and Aesthetics before we let you go.
Yeah, I got to get back there, guys. Been out in the sunshine a little bit. Got to get some skin treatment there. MD Wellness and Aesthetics.com or 205-582-9216. Facial. I'm going to go in there this week, and Susan and Dr. Mancuso are going to give me a facial. And it feels really good, guys, after – and I'm talking to the men. Of course, a lot of women go in there too. And they do it all. The laser treatments, the Botox, the filler. If you want some hair loss treatment, weight loss treatment, they do it. 205-582-9216, MD Wellness and Aesthetics.com.
You going to Hilton Head, Doug?
No, I'm off this week, guys. I'm off, so I may actually play a little golf myself, which would be something I haven't done in a while.
I played Hilton Head. It's some course.
Yeah.
Coach, you played everywhere.
Yeah, he's played
everywhere. No, I hadn't. I played Hilton Head, but I didn't get one of those plaid jackets like they.
There's a lot of courses at Hilton Head. You played the one they're playing there. That thing's beautiful. Well,
give me a rain.
Right on the water.
There's no reason I got to go.
It's usually like spring break down there. We'll see if it does.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doug.
Thanks, Doug.
Talk to you next week, guys. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll get to break here. Before we do it, though, let's talk about Bryant Bank.
Bryant Bank, the 4 locations. We usually start off by saying that, but it's actually a traditional banking experience regardless of where you are, whether it be in Birmingham, where my bank is right below me here, or right down the street is another one, in Columbiana, where I go through there sometimes. Bryant Bank is headquartered in 2005 in Tuscaloosa. So I know we have a lot of Tuscaloosa listeners on our show. And as I told the guy that I had dinner with the other night, that I mentioned that he had looking for a new bank, and he went to Bryant Bank and really liked it a great deal. They all do a good job of being your banker. When you go in a nice bank, the banker will be able to give you exactly the information that you may need. The sad truth is that we have small businesses that are targeted by fraud attempts, and these fraud attempts, you can take your money, but Bryant Bank is on top of anything like that would occur. You'll find that you'll be known, you'll be spoken to, you'll be a friend. And I think, to me, when you go into bank, you want somebody that you can trust and understand, and Bryant Bank are those people. So give them a call, tell them that you heard Barry and I on Inside the Locker Room, and that
2024. Receive up to 15% off select special order carpet purchases. Minimum purchase required. Exclusions apply. For licenses, see homedepot.com/license numbers.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. If you're traveling along Skyland Boulevard southbound near Hargrove Road, we still have an accident that's been working there for a while this morning. We've also picked one up in Havana in Hale County. This is going to be on Highway 69 and County Road 29, but it is out of the roadway. No lanes blocked.
And go from here to possible.
Chase for Business. Make more with yours. Real business owners compensated for their participation. Cards issued by JPMorgan Chase Bank and a member FDIC. Subject to credit approval. Terms apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays warm and dry today. The sky mostly sunny. Tuscaloosa's high 85. Fair tonight, the low 61. Tomorrow, partly sunny during the day. The chance of a few scattered showers tomorrow night. High tomorrow at 84. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 65 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
You're listening to Inside the Locker Room with Wimp and Barry, only on Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome back to Inside Locker. Phil Steele, who covers obviously college football, he just tweeted out, just watched the Ole Miss spring game. Got very little out of it. Dunk contest, tug of war, hot dog eating contest, obstacle course, no pads during the 7-on-7 flag.
No transfers.
No pads during the 7-on-7 flag football game. 50-yard field, not worth watching. Don't waste your time, according to Phil Steele. There you go.
Transfers.
No transfers. No disgruntled people. Everybody's happy, unless you got a bad hot dog. All right, let's go to the Yellowwood hotline and get Tom back in. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Barry. Morning, Coach. Y'all did an outstanding job with my question with Doug, so thank you for that.
You're welcome. Did you like his answer?
Yeah, I did. He pretty much. I don't speak as well as Doug does, but he kind of said what I was thinking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And did it in a much better way. But I wanted to bring up something that he was talking about, if we can continue with the Masters theme this morning, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay. He was talking about Scotty being a solid striker of his irons, how well he plays his irons, and I agree with it. But, I don't watch the network presentation of the Masters. I watch Masters.com, and I look at their the guys that they have on their broadcast, which is much better than the network. For instance, Jeff Sluman and Billy Kratzer were together on the Masters broadcast, and they were talking about Scotty's game, and they're both very familiar with him, and they pointed out that Scotty was not hitting his irons as good as he normally does, but he had made up with it all week with the putter, and I saw that as well. But they said he was a little bit off with his irons right now, but they were hailing and praising him because he was able to find a way to score effectively, even when he was not right on the money with the iron.
Well, he didn't miss the short putts. He didn't miss the short putts. I think that's what saved him.
I tell you what, though, Coach,
he made more than 6 and 7 and 8 footers than he's ever made.
He sure did, and I'll tell you somebody else. Did you watch Mark Howey? How he was putting yesterday?
No, I didn't.
My God, he don't miss anything 10 foot and under.
Yeah.
I mean, pouring them right in the center of the cup.
Yeah.
I thought y'all might find those comments interesting.
I didn't see him.
Thank you, Tom.
Bye.
All right,
Tom.
back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Digger in. Good morning, Digger.
Hey, Digger.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. A Texas guy won. He's a smart Texas guy, though.
Digger, I was completely wrong about the crowd at Bryant Denny. It was almost double what I thought it would be.
Very good for you guys. I don't even know
somebody complain about it.
Yeah.
Right. Real quick, hook up.
Oops. Digger gone. All right. Call back, Digger. All right. Back to the Yellowwood hotline. Get Greg in. Good morning, Greg.
Good morning, guys. Hope y'all having a great day.
We are.
Okay.
Enjoying the show as usual. I got to go to
A-Day, and I was impressed with everything. I thought it was a great day, beautiful weather, and I'm like you guys. I'm thankful Coach Saban is still involved in the way he is. He just like Coach Sanderson said, he knows what to do and how to do it, and he's a class guy. But I went to the baseball game. I want to give them a plug. And I went to the baseball game and had a great crowd, about 5,000 or 6,000 people there. But I was impressed with not only the way that they played on Saturday, but the way that the freshmen picked yesterday. I think our baseball team, we had that hurt some more, and we were playing a little bit better. But if you can you look at who we beat. We beat the number one team in the nation 2 out of 3. We beat Tennessee 2 out of 3. We beat South Carolina. I think all of them ranked pretty high. If we can just kind of keep this ship sailing, I think we got a pretty good chance to have a pretty good baseball team before it's over.
Yeah, sounds like it.
Yeah, I think Coach Vaughn's done a terrific job. You got to bring in some transfers, and keeping JJ there was big for him. And, wow, for a freshman to pitch 8 innings, when you look down at Auburn, how much they're struggling pitching. For Alabama to have a freshman come in there and you hold Arkansas to 0 runs in 8 innings, that's pretty remarkable.
I'll tell you, Barry, the newest rankings just came out.
Yeah.
And we have another number 1 team in Texas A&M in a schedule next.
Oh, wow. Is that who Alabama's got next? A&M. Yeah, A&M's really good as well.
You just keep playing these big guys. I mean,
Yeah.
the SEC, it's tough. But
Yeah, and that's going to be obviously here in Tuscaloosa. So I would think after Alabama winning 2 out of 3, and they got UAB at home tomorrow, and then A&M should have great crowds out there for these games. Hopefully the weather will be as good as it was this weekend.
Well, I hope so. I enjoy your show, guys. Appreciate all y'all do.
Thank you, Greg. Appreciate Greg calling there. So, yeah, Dad, before we go, just one maybe final word about Steve Sloan, maybe what he meant to you. The word's kind of getting out now about him passing away yesterday.
Well, he not only meant what he meant to the University of Alabama, not only as a player, but as a Christian guy that worked awfully hard to make Alabama, and things didn't turn out quite right for him, I don't think. But he was absolutely a wonderful person, he was a terrific athletic director, terrific. And you know me, I don't say much about stuff like that, but he was one of a kind and a great player. One time, Barry, they wanted to jump on him about playing golf. He'd never play. He would go out at North River. I would be out there by him hitting golf balls late in the afternoon. And so they wanted to criticize him one time. He went on a golfing trip like we always have, as you know, the golfing trip, and he made a hole-in-one. And when he did, the newspapers busted him. Said, "Oh, you don't want to play. He's playing way too much golf. Made a hole-in-one." I mean, it was ridiculous. So I'm so sorry for him and his wife. She's struggling like crazy, but she was by his side.
Yeah.
Great guy. Thank you.
All right, that's it for today's show. I know Gary will have more to say about that. And so, great people there. You talk about the Steve Sloans, and then Scotty Scheffler winning over the weekend. A really great guy there. That's what I was trying to talk about. I think we need to probably try to copy more guys like that instead of the Travis Kelce's of the world that get thrown down your throat all the time. Congratulations to Alabama football. Great weekend there. Alabama baseball did a tremendous job, and Nate Oates and those guys are doing a good job on the recruiting trail, it looks like. So good things headed out or going over to University of Alabama. The Gary Harris Show is next, so keep it locked in. You're listening to Tide 100.9. It's the home of Alabama sports. Have a great day, everybody.